Ted Cruz has been called out by his own daughter on her TikTok account. The teenage Cruz took to TikTok recently to talk about some of the perks and, of course, some of the problems that she encounters being the daughter of, one of the most disliked Republican senators out there. Not even most disliked Republican senators. One of the most disliked senators in the United States. And she said, it's cool. The travel is great. Dad has to go around a lot of places. Sometimes she gets to go with him. That's super fun. As any kid, of course, would say. Said the gifts that loving constituents send to the family, candies, things like that, that's cool. What she doesn't like, however, are her father's political beliefs. During one part of her video, she talked about the fact that it's not fair that people judge her based on her father's political beliefs, which, honestly, that's an accurate statement. That is totally fair to say that it's not fair, because obviously she's not Ted. And we shouldn't assume that just by virtue of being his kid, that she believes the same horrible things that he does. And as she points out in the video, she clearly does not. Here it is. Some of the bad things are, I literally have to have security following me everywhere. Like if I want to go on a walk through the neighborhood, like to my friend's house or something, I have to have like 2 security guards behind me the entire time. Also, a lot of people judge me based upon him at first glance. But I really disagree with most of his views, she says. Most. Not some, most of his views. Could there be a little progressive running around the Cruz household? Possible. The bottom line is, I think she brings up a really good point. You can't judge her based on the views of her father. This is a young woman who is, still living at home. She has no control over what her father says or does. And so it isn't fair. It isn't fair for people to lump any kind of criticism of him onto her. And I'm sure, of course, it does happen, especially probably in Texas. Now, she has not been an individual that I have seen publicly attacked. In fact, they've kind of stayed a little bit out of the spotlight. In fact, the only time I can think of, at least in the past year, where somebody actively went after the Cruz daughters was when Ted Cruz himself attempted to throw them under the bus when he escaped to Cancun to avoid the winter storm in Texas. He came back and he said, my daughters wanted me to go. I wasn't gonna, but they wanted me, so I went. So, I'm sure that didn't sit too well with the Cruz children. But maybe there's hope. Maybe 20 years in the future, we get a different Senator Cruz from the state of Texas. One that isn't completely ass backwards like Ted is. Don't know if politics are in the younger Cruz's future, but if she says that she doesn't agree with what her father believes, I'm not opposed to her running for office in the future.